Galatians 4:1-20, the gospel disclaims law. I say, therefore, that all the time that the heir is a child is nothing different from the servant, even though he is master of everything. But he is under tutors and healers until the time determined by his father. So we too, when we were boys, were reduced to servitude under the first rudiments of the world. But when the fullness of times came, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of children. And because you are children, God has sent into your hearts the Spirit of his Son, who cries out, Abba, Father. So you are no longer a servant, but a son, and if you are a son, you are also the heir of God through Christ. But when you did not know God, you served those who by nature are not God's. But now, knowing God, or rather being known by God, how do you turn again to these weak and poor rudiments, to which again you want to serve? You keep days, and months, and times, and years. I am afraid of you who have not worked in vain with you. Brethren, I beseech you, be as I am, for I also am like you, you did me no wrong. And ye know that I first preached the gospel to you, being weak in the flesh. And you did not reject or despise that which was a temptation in my flesh, but you received me as an angel of God, as Jesus Christ himself. What, then, is your blessedness? For I testify unto you, that if it were possible, ye would pluck up your eyes, and ye would give. Have I become your enemy, telling the truth? They have zeal for you, not as they should, but they want to exclude you, so that you may be zealous for them. It is good to be zealous, but always good, and not only when I am present with you. My little children, for whom I again feel the travail of birth, until Christ is formed in you. I wish I could be present with you now, and change my voice, because I am perplexed of you. Galatians 4:1-20. Second Epistle of Paul to the Galatians, chapter 4, verse 1-20. Dear brothers and sisters, we are studying the Epistle of Paul to the Galatians in chapter 4. Paul has a great concern in revealing to the Galatians the direction of the gospel of the Lord Jesus. He begins by saying that Christians were children before Jesus came. Knowledge was small, and the only knowledge they had was the law. In verse 4, he points out that when we gave the determined time, God has sent his born of woman, born under the law, so we receive the transformation of servants, we are the sons of God, and when we become children, we also received the right to be heirs of God, together with Christ. Because before they did not know God, they worshipped gods, and they served the gods that they had no power, being made by the hands of men. But now knowing God, and also being known to God, how can we turn back to the condition of servants, and serve other gods? Paul expresses himself by telling them that he was afraid that he had labored in vain, over everything he had taught them. Paul was far from the Galatians, and knew that they were receiving guidance from people who brought to them another gospel, not the gospel of the Lord Jesus. For these people were guiding the Galatians, they wanted them to return to obey the law, and that sacrifice of Christ was not enough to save them, so that Paul was worried saying to them, they have zeal for you, not as they agree, but they want to exclude you that you will be zeal for them.